been a wonderful, wonderful day, and we get it better each year. We're learning how to really do large amount of entries each time. Taylor, Beazle Farms, is so good with the concentrates, and he's got the best judges in the world over there too. But we had over 400 entries this year, and today was about getting them down from 275 to 50. So they had to knock down from 400 plus to under 275 to where they really looked at them all and got them down to about 50 today. So it was they're used to this. That's what they do, and they've got like a 3 or 4 backup system so that they really look at everything 3 or 4 times. The different judges get it, and then they go back through and they look at the other stuff, and then they smoke it all, and they look at their scores. And so it really is fair. By the time they're done, they've got a good top 50.
So the amount of entries has really bumped up in the last several years, and I'm hearing from judges things have gotten more organized in order to get through this volume of entries. So how do you think the organization has evolved, and what do you think of the process this year? How is it different, and talk about what's been involved in that organizing?
Well, in the past, only having a couple hundred entries, people could relax a little more, they could smoke a little more, they didn't have to be so serious because it was going to be an easier job. When we hit 650 entries last year, it was an overwhelming task that the judges really had to straighten up, get on the ball, and really spend a lot of time being serious about how to get that down from 650 to 400 to 200 to 50 to 20. This year they came in prepared for that. We put a $250 charge for testing on the entrance, which brought us down from 450 to a little over 400. So we have about a third less, but then the quality level is higher. So it's a little bit more difficult for the judges because it's not as easy to move out the lower grades. And so less entries, better quality, made it for a good contest. But what the judges do is they sit down, and we've really learned over the years, one of the things that we do is that we take all the entries, they open them all up, and the judges go one by one looking at them for a smell and the look, so that they're looking at the larger jars and not just a small entry. They're seeing everything, and they can go down and everybody can get their scores for those parts of the contest right there. And so that they've already got a pretty good idea. Anybody that looks at 400 jars is going to have a good idea of what the fire is and what's not off the top. So it really helps streamline the process. And then they go home, and they've just realized how serious this competition is overall, the judges have, and how much respect and integrity we put into it and what we really want to deliver to the entrants. And so it's not a one-day High Times or HempCon show. It's 6 weeks of judging. This is the third time the judges have been here, spending an evening doing that, and they're coming back on Friday to do it again, and then they're going to go to the event with us. So they will have spent basically several weeks in a row going through this. It's a tremendous commitment. We give the judges hotels. When they're down there, we give them tickets to get into the show. We take care of them. We cater good food, but basically it's a labor of love. This show is $1.2 million this year, and nobody's getting paid large even on that. It's all going back into the contest. So, the judges are doing it for the love.
It's amazing how it's grown in the last, this is the third year at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds. And for people that are going to the event, can you just talk about the intention behind it and what your hopes are for their experience?
Well, the first year we went to Sonoma, we were really worried about a couple things. One was bringing the vibe and the energy of the Triangle and the culture, the down-home feel that we do and have done here at Area 101 and then at the Mateel Center. And we were able to do that by bringing all the couches, all the organic decorations, the organic food. We really transformed and moved that vibe right down into the fairgrounds down there. And then the second part was all the mountain farmers up here were worried about not only that vibe, but about what kind of audience they would encounter down there, whether they get the right kind of culture, whether they would, enter into a world of just like, High Times people. And I don't use that in a bad way, but I mean just a different kind of show. But you know what? The people that come to the show, the patients, know that this is a Growers Cup, it's a Farmers Cup, it's an organic, outdoor, sustainable contest, and they want to come up and rub shoulders, they want to rub elbows with all these really incredible farmers. And so the farmers get a lot of props. They are respected. They come down and they get to rub shoulders and rub elbows with all those patients that really adore them and respect them and really honor what they do. And so after the first year, everybody was saying, wow, this was more than we would have ever hoped for or expected. And so last year, it really doubled in size to a larger number of 13.5, and this year we're expecting close to 20,000 people, so that everybody can come in and just feel it. And it's gotten to the point where LA Times is coming up, and Wired Magazine, Vice, they're all coming in to see what we present. And so I'm very proud of what we do, all the farmers in these mountains in the Emerald Triangle and across this state, and how we present ourselves to the world, with a lot of respect and dignity.
All right, and I want to ask one more question about the judging, and that is, so you had Jeb helping this year organize. I'm sure it's a big job to organize the contest. And so how many judges are we working with here, and what are all the different entries? So how many judges overall?
Well, I think there's about close to 60 judges. It started off, we were just, not just, but we were an organic flowers contest, and then we added on the concentrates, the solvent list, and then we started going into the edibles, and of course the CBD got in there, and then we had the Breeders' Cup for the best new strain, and then we had of course the Lifetime Achievement Award, which we started years ago with Pebbles Trippet, and it's just gone on and on. And now I don't know exact amount of awards, but we're spending about $45,000 in the prizes. Some stunning glass that's being done by some of the best blowers in the world, and they all come in and do unique pieces, every one of them. Nothing's bought off the shelf, so that each of the winners can have something to carry with the rest of their life and be proud of. And Mickey Norris and Chris Conrad, you look at the Lifetime Achievement Awards, and also amazing. But Jeb coming in, we've done a really good job with the cup, and each year we get better. Jeb has really helped step up the organizational, operational details of getting the information to the dispensaries. Because as you go statewide and you have a dozen or more drop-off locations, and we're picking up stuff from all over the state, this state's like its own country. It becomes drivers all over the place, and all this testing and trying to get it back to the labs. And now we're charging a fee for the entries, so we've got to pick up all that money, and bring in $150,000 and separate that from all the flowers coming in. And then we've got to give all that information to all these collectives so they know what to do. And Jeb has done an outstanding job. And you got Yvonne Hendricks, who's come in the last couple of years with marketing. You got Michelle Deem on the operations. You got Jeb coming in. All of a sudden, we have a world-class team of people producing this show. And it's gone from, me and a few of my friends and my ex-girlfriend Samantha and whatnot, just doing this by the seat of our pants, to where we have, like I said, a world-class team that's putting this on. And you'll see that firsthand at the Cup this year down in Santa Rosa.
All right. And how far it's come. I mean, I was reflecting back with a few people on the Cup being right here at Area 101, where they're doing the judging now, and of course on Thursday we'll be doing the final decisions and ranking of the top 1 through 50 flowers. Yeah. And back in 2010 there was a question whether the Emerald Cup would happen, because the federal crackdown had just happened. So talk about that. Or was it 2011? It was right after the crackdown, and there's a question, and you said, no, we put it on, and we've got enough lawyers here that we're not too worried.
Well, they busted the lead proponent and grower for the 9.31 program here in Mendocino, Matt Cohen, and we knew the feds were coming after the rest of us. They ended up busting the dispensary over in Mendocino about a couple weeks after we closed down the Mendocino Farmers Collective here at Area 101, because we could feel the heat coming. And we were going to cancel the Cup, and people just, they begged me not to. They just said that we had to not bow down to them. And it was an amazing thing. We just decided that I wasn't going to stop that, and we were going to put it on no matter what. And that was the first year, really, that all the lawyers and all the community came up here to support us, because up until then, they'd looked at this as an all-night, stoner party show, and it didn't have quite the serious nature of a workshop and a gathering of activists. And they all came up here, Tony Serra, Omar Figueroa, all of them came up to stand in unity, and we put that Cup on. And it's an amazing thing to look back and think about. It really is emotional for me, because it was a turning point for us, and the Cup has just blown up since then, and it's really a tribute to all those people that came and helped us really stand up to law enforcement and to the feds that year. It was amazing.
It was the community is very close here, and so I think the next thing I want to talk about is you putting to paper some of your life experiences. In the guide, it shows that you have a book out now, and that's going to be unveiled at the Emerald Cup. Can you talk a bit about that?
Well, I started writing a book about 24 years ago, My grandfather's a writer. My father was a writer. They're both lawyers, but they're writers. And I had gone through a really challenging experience with the feds. I was, looking at close to 20 years maybe, and started putting it all down and starting to talk about how the industry evolved over the 70s and 80s and 90s. And my family, like I said, a family of attorneys. We moved to Santa Cruz when I was young, and as a young kid, I was getting kilos, 1 kilo, 2 block of Mexican, and the guy selling it to me in high school, would have 5,000 pounds in their backyard, and I didn't know that for a few years later until I was like 18 or 19, and kind of was raised in that side of the industry. And so it's really a story about all of that, about that industry, how it evolved over the 70s and 80s and early 90s. And it's a ways back. It really ends 23 years ago, but it's a really good look into all that and the history of that and my evolution, integrating my meditation and interest in UFOs and spirituality, because that's what I've really done is cannabis and deep spirituality and seeking my whole life. So it's kind of this outlaw story about the history of what we've done for the last 30 or 40 years, interwoven with a kind of a spiritual journey of my own. So I finally got it finished. Nikki helped me write that the first round for about a year and a half. My friends Tom Bocci and Randy came and helped me finish it. It was an amazing thing to take that and weave that into a book. And we just finished it, and they wouldn't let me back down. And so we put it up on Amazon. We brought it out for the Cup, and I'm really proud of it. I really hope people like it, and I get some good reviews, and I actually finally call myself an author and a writer like the rest of my family. That's what I like to be able to do.
All right. Well, so glad we got to interview you today. And is there anything else that you wanted listeners to hear about before they have an opportunity to go to the Cup?
Well, we've really stepped it up this year. We have over 300 booths coming in. We have over 24 food vendors, so we've really stepped up on the food. We have it all inside the little Cow Palace for the 215 areas. The music's all inside, so there won't be any problems, rain or shine. We have trams to move people around. We have tents so people can be out of the rain if there is any. Looks 50-50, but not really bad. So we put a lot of time and energy into making it very comfortable for everybody, no matter what the weather is, no matter what happens. And so you can come down and really enjoy a wonderful dry time. And I got Asa Schaefer's put in over 60, 70,000 into the VIP tents. We've gone out of our way on Demonstration Row. The team has just put some amazing, fun things to do together, and you'll see them. So come down and join us and eat the great food, smoke the great cannabis, rub shoulders with all the patients and all the wonderful farmers, and we can all be proud and stand together.
All right, let's rub shoulders.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim.